Buddy, it's Alison Sullivan, Stamp Crazy with Alison, and I should be live. Just gonna wait to see who joins me. And hi guys, I'm just gonna wait to see who's coming on. I'm also gonna see if if you can hear me. So let's see here. I should be live. Let's see. Yeah, you should be able to hear me. I can hear myself. Oh yay! I think it's gonna work today. Yay! Okay, I just have to wait for you guys to show up. Oh, hi, Keisha. You should be able to hear me today. I have practiced. So can you just say, yeah, I can hear ya? That'll make me feel better. Hi, Gail. Welcome. You guys should be able to hear me today because today it's perfect. Oh, thanks, Keisha. I'm telling you, this technology will be the death of me. I can stamp, but sometimes technology is just like, ah. Anyway, great. Sounds perfect. Excellent. Okay. I hear you. Great, Gail. Oh, that's awesome. Hi, Leona from YouTube. Okay, so I am just gonna. Mo's watching. Hi, Mo, and you guys can hear me. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so a lot of you are popping on. I'm just gonna wait to 3:03. I find that it takes about a minute and a half, you guys, to find me because I go live, but it's that delay with Facebook. Hi, Jennifer. Oh my gosh. And Sarah. Hi, Sarah. So I'm just going to wait till 3:03 and then we're going to get started because I have a really cute card today. At least I think it is. Okay. Just watching. My eyes are turning here because that's where I'm watching my comments because the comments on my screen aren't keeping up. And that's okay. I think I've got so many things going. I got my phone. I got my iMac, I've got my iPad, I've got my and now I had to bring up my laptop because my iPad was dying. Of course, right? Hi, Leanne, all the way from Perth, Australia. Oh, and I have another Facebook user from Melbourne. Um, the Facebook user from Melbourne, you are on, you were on the Border Buddy Hangout. And unless you give me permission or Facebook permission, I can't see your name. So just type in the comments your name and say, hi, I'm from Melbourne. Okay. And we got Leona from Okotok. I love that name. Okotok. Must be fun to say that. And we've got someone from Florida, Gulf and Mary. Okay. Oh, another Jennifer. Jennifer, hi. Okay, you guys, I think we can get started, right? Yeah, let's get started. Okay, so welcome. I'm Alison Sullivan with Stamp Crazy with Alison, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I live in a suburb just outside of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, so on the west coast of Canada. So about a 3-hour drive from Seattle, Washington. That's the sort of closest big U.S. city to me. I'm about half an hour to the border. And I can't wait to show you the card that I've got today. I really love it. So I'm going to actually, how can you keep track of all your places? I don't know. Facebook user. Lynette. It's Lynette. I don't know, Lynette. Honest to Pete, it's like, I need a big map, where I can put pins in it or something. Okay, so let's hop over and see what we're going to play with today. Now, before I get started, I'm just going to wheel over here to my workspace. Before we get started, you guys, I want to tell you about a very special event that I'm holding. This only really applies to Canadians because I can't sell to anyone else. But Jennifer Yoland is on this call, and Gail is on this call, and some others, I think, that are Canadian. And I'm saying Okotoks wrong. I'm sorry. Maybe someone has to write it out phonetically then for me. We've got names here that I can say that are kind of hard, like let's see, what have we got here that are kind of weird names? No, I can't think of any. Coquitlam, that's a name that if I spelled it out for you, you guys wouldn't be able to pronounce it probably. Of course, in the U.S. is Shamanus and a whole bunch of indigenous names. So I'll have to brush up on my Okotoks. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay. So my son is a first responder. My sister's son is a first responder. So anything that benefits first responders is kind of close to our hearts, right? And what I do every year is a fundraiser. And sometimes I do it for Ronald McDonald House. I know you all know what Ronald McDonald House is. And a couple of times I've done it for an organization that's local to me called Honor House. And Honor House was started by a veteran, a Canadian Forces veteran who was injured in Afghanistan. And he was injured because he went into a home there, and it was polite, obviously, to take off, your shoes and sit with the family who were giving him a meal. And it was polite to take off your hat. And he, of course, had on his helmet. And he took it off, and someone came up behind him, and can't remember how they injured him, but he suffered a brain injury. And when he came home, he realized there wasn't really a place for him to stay close to a local big trauma unit and whatnot. So Honor House was born kind of out of his vision. And now it is a beautiful home, a heritage home in my neighborhood. And it has 11 rooms with 11 en suites, one for each room. And it's for families and first responders who need to come into the lower mainland of British Columbia for medical treatment. So it's like Ronald McDonald House, only it's for first responders. So I haven't been able to do it for a couple of years because of COVID. So I thought, what if I did a virtual event? So for those of you who are Canadian, I'm doing a virtual event with kits. So you can order any kit from our kit collection. And we're going to get together on November 6th and put our kits together. So isn't that fun? And the proceeds from the kit sales will go to Honor House to help them with their programs for veterans, fire, police, EMTs. Who have I left off? First responders and military. Okay. So one of the new kits that just came out today, which is adorable, is this Love Santa tag kit. And so this is one of the choices. If you're Canadian and you want to join us, you can purchase this kit through my store, and you're in the class. Okay, so that's that. So let me show you what we're going to work on today. Painted Christmas. Now, Painted Christmas is the suite. Let me get it in this. Here we are. The suite that Patsy Wagner, who's my border buddy from Minnesota, Alexandria, Minnesota. She and I partnered, 9 years ago. And she takes care of people in the U.S. and I take care of people on. I'm just going to turn my sound off, you guys. Okay. I take care of Canadians. And so we offer the same customer rewards. And one of our rewards is whenever you make a purchase through our store, you will receive a free PDF with instructions for 6 cards that we create using a suite of the month. And so this month, we're using Painted Christmas, which we both love. So you can see it's a huge collection, right? It's got 2, I'm just going to move this over, 2 stamps and dies. And then it has some other items. So let me show you what those are live so you can see what it looks like. And I'm just going to, sorry, you guys, for the first time in a while, I've had to use my, laptop to do comments. So I'm kind of all over the place here. Okay. So let's start by showing you the products. Okay. So we've got a stamp set called Christmas Season. And with that, we have, gosh, I think I got to get these right. because they have this weird thing where they go in opposite to what I think they ought to do. Okay, so Christmas season comes with seasonal label dies. Okay, so we've got some labels here, right? Which I always love labels. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 labels. And then the other pieces cut out stamped images. So if I were to stamp this stamp, this die would cut it out. Of course, I can cut it out with just the die. I don't have to stamp it first. Okay, so that's door number 1. And then we also have another stamp set, Christmas to Remember. Gosh, I hope I'm in screen. I can't. It's hard to look in 6 different places. I'll do my best today. I'm just grateful I've got sound today. Remember the other day? Okay, so we've got our stamps, lots of great words, and then we've got these beautiful dies. Now, these dies look kind of intimidating, but they're not. So you can use these independent of each other, or you can cut this die out, and then this die can be cut and layered on top to give it like a 3-dimensional kind of thing. Let's turn that over. I also cut this out and use just the sprigs. Does that make sense? I thought I had one cut out. I think I do. Here it is. So here's what I mean by that. So I cut this out, and then I went ahead and just snipped off some of the little boughs here, the little pine needles, right? And I can use those on a card, just like a smaller version of it. It also has in this set pine cones, which we're going to be using today. Okay. All right. So that's 2 stamp sets and 2 dies. It's also got these really pretty gold holly leaves. They're quite thin, so they're not going to add a lot of weight to your project. So you can get away with mailing them, and they're not going to add bulk. Okay. They'd be great for fall cards too. And then this beautiful ribbon. It's a cherry cobbler. Let's see here. Cherry cobbler and gold. Okay. And I think it is half an inch. So, and it's soft, so it's quite easy to fold. Okay. I hate when you get bulky ribbon, don't you? And then you can't get a nice flat ribbon. And then lastly, we've got this the designer series paper, and with like most of our DSP, this comes 12 by 12. You get 2 of each sheet. Now I have cut it down to 6 by 12 just so you can see it. Okay, otherwise it really wouldn't fit in the frame. So here's one side. This really does remind me of, I'm probably aging myself, but of when I was a kid. Like, this is a very traditional paper, as is this. This is sort of what I'm used to was when I was growing up, or the pine cones. Okay. It's really kind of traditional, and sometimes it's nice to use traditional colors, right? Like reds and greens. And then on the other side, we have paper that's geometric or maybe a little bit subtler. Here's another one that's just kind of a nice subtle. Okay. So that's the stars of the Painted Christmas Suite. Now let's get creating. I received this card from my sister, Mo. I want to just bring it in here like this and move it over a bit. And I'm going to lower this down because I think I'm a little too high. So let's see. How's that? Is that straight? Pretty much. So my sister made me this card, and it's a fun fold card, which makes it kind of even cooler. Who have we got here? We've got Elaine, and we've got Mern, and we've got Connie. Welcome. Look how cute this is. So this opens. It's a little flap, and it opens, and then this pulls out like a little fun fold. Isn't that cute? I love this. Okay, so I believe, I'm pretty sure that my sister Mo found this on Connie Stewart, who's a friend of mine. Simply Stamping, I think, is her handle, her web blog handle. And Connie has got some amazing ideas. But isn't this pretty? I love this. Now this is using the Sweets and Treats. Really cute. So let's make this card, and I can show you Connie's idea of how to put it together. Now, let me grab my stuff. Okay, so here's all the little bits that I pre-cut. And I'll share you the dimensions with you. We have our card front, right? This is just our card base. So this is just our regular 8.5 by 5.5. And then it's scored at 4 1/4, right? And then we've got that piece that, you know, is going to fold out, right? So that is cut to, let me just get my exact measurements here. It is cut 8 by 5 1/4. So I've scored it at 4 inches, and then again, I've scored it that section in half. So you've got a large panel here, this would be 4 by 5 1/4, and then you've got the two smaller 2 and 2 by 5 1/4. Okay, and then this is just going to get folded. So you can either score it, or you could just fold it in half and then fold it back on itself again. Okay, so that's how that piece is going to fit in there. And that's going to create that little mechanism. Then I went ahead and chose one of the designer series papers for my front. Okay, that's from that Painted Christmas. And I've got a piece of paper because I want to cut a focal point for my stamping. That's just the basic white. And it'll depend on what you want to use. So I'll show you in a minute. And then I've got this other little piece here that's just going to go on that panel just to finish that off. And that's 1 3/4 by 5. And then I've got a bunch of scraps. So I've got a crumb cake, a couple of crumb cakes. I've got a early espresso, and I've got a soft suede. And those are for pine cones that I'm going to cut. All right. So set those aside. And then I do have a piece of early espresso. Now it's cut to 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. And you'll see the reason why. Okay, soon. All right. Have I still got everybody with me? Sharon. Hi, Sharon. Okay. So the first thing we want to do, you guys, is we want to glue our DSP to the front of our card. But I don't want to put glue all over this and glue it down, because what we're trying to get here is we want this piece that we're going to cut out using a frame that I'm going to show you in a minute. We want it to actually be able to use this cutout piece that we've cut out here. So in order to do that, my sister taught me this, you have to put your glue only around the edge. Okay, so I'm going to put you can use whatever glue you want. I'm going to use my favorite glue, which is the white glue. Okay, and you can see that I'm just going around the edge here. I don't want to go too far. Okay. All right, leaving the middle with no glue. And then, whoops, I'm going to just bring in my card base and I'm going to stick it on. Okay, everybody with me so far? Okay. Then I want to cut out my shape. So I have got the scalloped contours dies. And love these. Here they are. What they look like. Sorry, I'm banging my little thing here. I'm going to raise this up just a titch so you can see. So I've got all these beautiful frames, which I love. You can see they've got different details to them, right? Now the flowers go with the stamp set that coordinates with this die. Okay, and then we've also got this really nice edgelet here where we can cut it like a scalloped edge, which is really pretty. So I'm going to need this one here, which is the large one. And I'm going to need the next size. Okay, so those are the two sizes I need. Next, I'm going to take my frame and I'm going to place it here and run it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss. And I thought today that I could just use my smaller cut and emboss, but I am going to have to go over and cut this on my larger machine. I don't usually use it on my lives just because it's so big and it takes up so much room. You won't be able to see what I'm doing. So all I've done here, you guys, is I'm going to open this up and I'm just going to cut this out just like you would normally cut something out, okay, of a piece of paper. And I've held it down with the removable tape. And the reason I'm using this is because sometimes things move when I'm putting them through for whatever reason, and I want it to be straight. So I'm just going to be back in 2 seconds. Meanwhile, I'm going to put this back so you can have a look at what we're actually accomplishing here. So I'll be right back. I have to snip over here. Hope you can still kind of hear me. Hope you're all hanging in there. Can you hear me? It'll be 2 seconds, you guys. Just 2 seconds. Everything else I'll be doing on camera, and you'll be able to see me. But just in my small little studio here, it's easier to just place this on my other table. Okay. You can hear me, I know. All righty. Okay. Here I am, back. Here's my piece, and I'm just gonna lift this up, and this is removable tape. I just got it on Amazon, so you can find it, or maybe your local Staples or Office Max. Okay, so you can see that that cut the center out, and on this I've got 2 pieces, right? I've got this DSP that I can use on another project, and then I've got the piece that fits in here. Okay, then I'm going to show you, remember I was talking about this piece that I cut, just so it's going to fit inside my stitched line there. Okay, all right, so we can set that aside. Now let's bring in our little workhorse, which is our baby Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and let's raise this up so you can see. There we go. All right, so I've got my cutting plates. I guess you guys who've been watching me for a while might be sick of hearing me hype go on about this. I do not use plate number 1 for die cutting. It just doesn't work for me. I use plate number 3. Okay, then I've got my clear plate, which isn't so clear as you can see. And then I've got my piece of basic white, and then I've got that frame that I want to cut, right? So that's pretty straightforward. We'll just put our plate on top and run that through. Okay. Excellent. So now I've got my focal point that I'm going to use for stamping. And since I've got my machine out, let's grab the other things that I want to cut. So from the pine cones dies, I want to cut a large pine cone and a small pine cone. Okay, there we go. And I can do this on my little machine. So let's grab, I'm going to make one of my pine cones early espresso and one of them soft suede. So the good thing about this die is they actually give you, they actually give you 2 pine cones. So if you want to cut a lot of pine cones, you don't have to, it takes you less time. Does that make sense? If you're joining me for the first time, usually I'm better at keeping things in my field of vision, but my iPad died. Well, it didn't die, the battery died. So I can't see your comments as easily, and I can't quite see if I'm in frame. So hopefully I've been mostly in frame. Fingers crossed. I always post the finished project so you guys can see it too. Okay. And there's all my little dies, and there's my cutouts. If you're anything like me, do you lose things? I lose things all the time. So I'm trying to train myself to put my stuff back on my magnetic. I use a magnetic little board for my stuff. Okay, now I've got my crumb cake. And I'm going to cut 2 of those and 1 of those. So this is kind of the layer. You layer on top to give you a little bit more dimension. Okay, let's run that through. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Ellie. Oh, my sisters are both here now. Yay. Okay. If you've missed any of my little broadcast, you can go back and watch it on the replay once I'm finished today. Okay. There we go. All right. And trying to form good habits. I'm going to put my dies back on my magnetic board so I don't lose them. Okay. Now, that is all I have to cut, so I can put away my little machine. Put that out of the way. All right. Got all my bits. Here we go. And this, and my inside mechanism. All right, let's start assembling this. Now, if you're like me, hopefully you're not like me, because I sometimes, do you ever stamp something and then it's crooked, or yikes, or you drop something on it and then you think, oh great, I've already stuck it in my card. So I am going to, I'm going to I'm going to ink my saying, there we go, in real red, Merry Christmas. That's from one of the stamp sets. I'm going to, see, look, see what I did? See, I did that on purpose, you guys, just to show you. Don't do what I do. Okay, there we go, Merry Christmas. And then this is just going to get folded like that. I find with red that it can be quite smudgy, because it's, and of course I always get it on my hands. Do you guys do that? And I like to take a piece of scrap and just make sure that my sayings are straight. Again, I'm sure you're not like me. I'm sure you can stamp straight. But sometimes I think, whoa, I need a practice. There we go. Okay, so on my little scalloped edge label here, I'm going to stamp, may this be a Christmas to remember and cherish. And I want it at the top. Okay, there we go. Again, I'm not going to touch that because I'll smudge it. All right. So I'm also going to stamp something on here just to give a little bit of interest. So I'm going to grab my crumb cake. And I've got the, these are 2 steps. Do you guys know what a 2-step stamp is? 2-step is that you can stamp your solid, and then you can stamp on top, and it's just a little bit lighter, and you get a bit of dimension. So just going to make sure I've got the right one for the right thing. So my crumb cake is going to be stamped here. And then I'm going to use my early espresso for my over top image. Okay, and that's just going to give me some interest. I always like to add a little bit of Wink Stella because you get that cool look with the 2-dimension, right? But then the Wink Stella is out. That's like the worst thing. That's the worst thing that can happen to me today. It's not so bad, but I love my Wink Stella. I don't know if you can see this because it's hard on camera to see the sparkly, but I'm just putting it on the early espresso. So it sort of looks like frost or dew or snow on the pine cone. And then this is going to get folded like this. And now I want to decorate this panel here. So let me close my ink pads because we know what happens with those. Anybody got any questions? No, you're just watching. Okay. So I'm going to glue this down to my little panel. Now, I found yesterday, I guess there kind of is an up and down. I glued it upside down yesterday. There is kind of a right way up on this DSP. There we go. Okay. And then I can go ahead and glue it inside my card. Okay. If you would like to share my video, I'd appreciate it. And if you do, just click on share. You'll see it, the button there. And if you do, whether live or afterwards, just comment that you've shared it so I know. And then I will put you in a draw for mailing you a card. Okay, here we go. So you can kind of see how that's coming along, right? So we got our, okay. Now, I want to take that. Sorry, you guys. Okay, that was funny. Now, earlier, Chrissa and I were the only 2 on my call, and she was sympathizing with me about technology. And of course, I'm using my phone. Of course, the phone rang. Oh my gosh, like really?
All right. I'm really much better. Maybe I should just go back to my webcam, you guys. I had no problems with my webcam. Maybe I'm just going outside of my comfort level too much. Can you see what I just did there, you guys? I don't want to put too much glue. So I'm holding this down. I've put my glue inside, and then just like a puzzle, I want this to go the right way though. Just like a puzzle, I'm going to slip that back in to its little opening. Okay. So hopefully that person won't call back, you guys. Oof. All right. Next, I've got my early espresso that I told you I'd cut earlier, right? And all I've done was cut it so that it's going to fit inside the little stitched lines. Are you guys laughing with me yet? Did you guys even hear the phone? Maybe you guys didn't hear the phone. Let me know. Did you hear the phone? My cell phone rang. My cell phone never rings, you guys. So if you didn't hear it, let me know, and then I won't worry about it if it rings. Okay, and then that's that piece that I've started to decorate, right? Now, let's get our pine cones. So we've got a big one and a little one. And I'm just going to use my take a pick tool to poke out those little pieces. They just come out easily. Sometimes if I run my die through this way and then I run it back towards me, they pop out as part of the cutting process. But if they don't, you just press them and they come right out. Okay, so that's going to go on top of that. And then I need one more little guy. And he or she is going to, or they, or it is going to just lay just like that. Okay. So this is a bit tricky because I love, as you guys know, my white glue. Now, the white glue is my friend. Sometimes with things like this that are really tiny, it's not my friend. But if I just really very lightly put some glue on here, like really lightly, I can get away with it. It also dries clear, so don't worry too much about it. And then that just lays on top, just like that. And you get that dimensionalized pine cone. Isn't that great? Love that. And then this guy's a bit bigger, but I'll still be careful with them. I hope everybody's keeping well. And Saturday was World Card Making Day, so I hope you got some card making done or some scrapbooking or another craft. Crafting helps me keep my sanity, I think. All right. Such that it is. All right. There's my 2 pine cones. So let's put those on. I'm just going to put some glue on here, and I want it on my lower like that. And how about if we pop this guy up? I haven't had any dimensionals on my card yet. Need dimensionals, right? The world needs more dimension. That's what I say. Okay. And then just to finish this off, you guys, have you guys seen this trim, Simply Elegant trim? It's silver or gold. You get both of them in one little pack, which I love. So I'm just going to tie before I do that, I'm going to tie the bow, and then I'll show you. I'm going to add one more thing I forgot. So I really like this. This is also quite, well, I wouldn't say old-fashioned, but traditional, right? This kind of gold trim. We used to have this as a kid all the time on our presents and things. Okay, so I want to put that on, but I want to add, and you guys should see my desk. I want to add those little gold leaves. Remember that I showed you earlier that I set aside because I thought, well, I want to put some of those on. And of course, not here. All right, that's okay. Let me show you. Let me put this on. Let me put the bow on, and I'm just going to use a glue dot, which I do have. Oh, there's the gold. Right in front of me, guys. Here's the gold leaves. Let's grab a big one. Now they have two sides. They've got a really quite shimmery gold side and then a more subdued side. But I'm going full gold. I'm just going to take a glue dot and put it on the back, and then I'm just going to put it down here like so. What do you think? Just kind of makes it more interesting. I think there's big guys and little guys in here. Let's see. Let's get this little guy. We'll get two different looks here. Oop. And we're going to put our glue dot on, and like that. Okay, and then I'm going to glue dot my bow. All right. All right. That is my fancy fold card, or fun fold. The fold is courtesy of Connie Stewart. And the idea is from the card that my sister made for me using the sweet treats. Okay. Oh, you did hear it, Alien? Okay. I got to figure out another way, you guys. Turn off my phone. Don't know how I can do that. But anyways, I will try. Now, you guys, I was playing with this yesterday, and here's something I figured out, which I'm kind of excited about. Okay, so those are our two cards. Yeah? Well, I thought, what if I wanted the card to go the other way? Because the sayings in my set are long, right? So this one opens this way and folds this way. Okay, so can you see that? Folds this way. So I will be popping this up on my Instagram and probably my blog, and obviously here on my Facebook page for you guys at some time in the next few days. And I'll put all the measurements for that. Okay, so one way, two ways. All right, so let me come back over. There we are. And I have to say, I rarely get a phone call on my cell. I even rarely get a phone call on my landline. Yes, I still have a landline. But anyway, thanks, Mo. Yeah, so Mo was, my sister's saying she loves the second layout. And she's the one that gave me the card with the sweets and treats. Okay. Thank you, guys. I love the pine cones too. Oh, hi, Marilyn. Nice to see you on here. You can never have too many label dies. No, you cannot have too many label dies. It's impossible. That's right. That's how I found you, RMH Fundraisers. Yeah, it is Jennifer. Jennifer Yoland has just commented, that's how I found you. She found me many, many years ago. We did a Ronald McDonald House fundraiser. Gosh, Jennifer, you would know how long ago it was. And she found us because her niece was having treatment at Children's Hospital in Vancouver, and her family was staying at Ronald McDonald House. And so Jennifer came out to support us. And from then, she came to every one of our fundraisers. And we always asked how her niece was doing. And I think her niece is still doing really, really well. So 2004. Okay, so that's, gosh, and your niece is doing great. She's all grown up, I think. She must be in college or university by now. I think she was about 12 or 13 then. And yeah, it's amazing. She made a great recovery from cancer, and Ronald McDonald House just took away that extra layer of burden on the family, right? And that's what Honor House does. That's the charity I'm raising money for right now, for first responders. So she's 23 and she's still in remission, Jennifer says. So I'm always so excited to hear how she's doing. Okay, you guys, I'm glad you like the folds. I'll put up the dimensions. Please, if you live in Canada and you want to join our fundraiser, we'd love to have you for a fun date. And if you want to join my, I gotta remember, painted Christmas card class, take and make class. The registration ends on the 8th, which I think is Friday. So I put the link on this video.
As always, I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule in your day to spend half an hour just stamping with me. It's great to have you here because it's better than talking to myself, which is great. And I really appreciate your flexibility in all the techno challenges that I have. All I can say is I can still stamp, but sometimes technology is not my friend. All right, you guys. So I will say goodbye. Great. Bye for now, you guys. Happy stamping. Oh, and I'll see you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Thursday, 7 p.m. Be there. Here.